Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nadia, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how I do makeup on my almond-shaped eyes. So I have always struggled with having makeup looks look good on me. I've watched a million YouTube videos, but they never turn out the same on my eye shape because a lot of people have more round eye shapes. But on my eye shape, I figured out what works best. So if you also have almond-shaped eyes and you want to hear how I do my makeup to complement my eye shape, then just keep on watching. So for any eye look, it's really important to start with a little bit of eye primer. So I'm going to be using this Wet n Wild Photo Focus eye primer. Just use a little bit of that and tap it on my eyelid. Okay, so I just set that eye primer down and now I'm going to be starting on the eye look. So if you have almond-shaped eyes, there are two things that are really important to keep in mind. The first is the size and shape of your brushes. So I'm going to be using these Hakuhodo brushes. These are really good because they're nice and pointed, so they're perfect for almond-shaped eyes because you don't have a whole lot of lid space. So I'm going to be using these ColourPop single shadows for my transition colors, and I'm going to be going into this one right here, and I'm going to lay that down in my crease. So to get a nice blown out transition like this, make sure that your head is tilted back and look down in your mirror like this, and place the tapered part of the brush right into the socket and do little windshield wiper motions like this. And when you're laying down this initial transition, this is where we're going to start focusing the shadow towards the outside corner of your eye rather than putting it evenly throughout your crease. Make sure to focus it towards this outer corner. And then with what's left on your brush, you can tilt your brush upwards and blend it like this with the bristles facing upwards, and that will give you a really nice and diffused look. Next, what I'll do is try to start building up the crease and building up the outer corner even more. I'm going to be grabbing a smaller tapered blending brush and grabbing a slightly darker color. I'll be grabbing this color right here. It's a slightly darker brown. So I load up my brush with this color and then I do the same thing. I tilt my head back, but instead of going all the way up towards my brow bone, when I tilt my head back, I'm going to be going closer down towards my crease. Now if you want to fix up things like skipping in the inner corner, you can just grab a small brush like this and it's just going to be clean and you can really get in there and buff it out. So what I do next for this eye look depends completely on what kind of mood I'm in, what kind of makeup look I'm trying to create. But now what I'm going to do is grab a really nice bronzy gold color and grab that on my finger and just put that all over the lid. Okay, so that was just a bronzy gold kind of color that I just put all over my lid with my finger. Now to build up the outer corner, I'm going to be using a very dark color and a tapered brush like this. This is my very favorite brush and it is so important for every eye look that I do because it is tapered and it's nice and densely packed. So this is what helps me get into the outer corner, and if you have almond shaped eyes, that outer corner is a very small area, so it's important that you have a small brush to pack color onto that area. So I'm just going to grab a dark brown color and I'm going to pack that onto my outer crease. So for this side, again, I'm going to tilt my head backwards, grab that color just on one side of this brush, and then start packing and swiping it onto the outer corner. So once that color has been packed onto your outer corner, you can grab a smaller blending brush and just start to blend those edges away. So now that that outer corner color is as intense as I want it to be, I'm going to go back over the lid shade and just tap it over the darker color to blend those two colors together. Okay, really quickly, I'm going to go finish up my face and then come back to do the inner corner and lower lash line. Okay, so I finished the rest of my makeup so that I can go ahead and finish the lower lash line. So I'm just going to grab that first transition color that we used, and I'm going to go right underneath my eye and just start to lay down a transition similar to how we did up on the lid. It's really easy to go too far on your lower lash line if you have almond-shaped eyes because it's such a small area and it can get really overwhelming because you don't have a lot of lid space. So just make sure to be really light-handed. So after that initial transition, I'm going to be going in with an even smaller brush like this, and I'm going to grab that same dark color that we used to deepen up the crease, and I'm just going to grab that right on the tip of my brush like this, and not getting it on the sides, just right on the tip, and then I'm going to buff that along the lower lash line, but this time focusing it on the outer corner. So that's pretty much it for the lower lash line. I try not to go too heavy just because it can be too overwhelming for my eye shape. Now, people with round eye shapes like to add a color in the waterline, usually like a dark black color or something like that, or a color along the lower lash line. I'm not going to do that because I feel like it closes off my eye shape. Because my eyes are already so narrow, adding a dark color on my lower lash line just closes them off even more, so I'm going to skip that step altogether. And finally, for the inner corner highlight, I'm going to be using a very, very tiny brush. Again, that area is super small on almond-shaped eyes, so it's important to have a very tiny brush. This is a flat shader brush by Hakuhodo. And I'm going to grab a shimmery, bright, kind of light gold color and just pack and swipe that onto the inner corner. After I place that initial part of the corner highlight, then I usually tilt my head back and just swipe it between the lid shade and the inner corner, and it just sort of marries those two colors together. Now I'll just put on some mascara and I'll be right back. So here's the final eye look, and here it is up close. Okay, so if you're doing your makeup and you have almond-shaped eyes, there are a couple of things that are important to keep in mind. The first is brush size and shape. I have a couple of Hakuhodo brushes that I really love and take care of because they're the perfect size for my eye shape. And the second most important thing to keep in mind is to blow your eyeshadows out towards the outer corner rather than bringing color in, because that's going to close off your eye shape and it just won't look right if you have almond-shaped eyes. So do your best to keep your eyeshadows going out towards the outer corner and use a couple of those techniques that I showed you to do so. Of course, there are a million different ways to do your eye makeup, but these are a couple of things that I've learned that look the best on my eye shape. So I hope that you guys found this helpful. If you did, please give this video a big ol' thumbs up. Check out my other videos if you like this one, and be sure to subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this type of content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.